Okay, so good evening, everyone, and welcome to Aurora's Committee of Adjustment meeting. I will start by introducing the committee members and staff. I am the committee chair, and my name is Tom Plamondon, and the remaining members of the committee are as follows. Daniel Lajeunesse is our vice chair, Steve D'Angeli, Michelle Boyer, Linda Deringer, and David Mango are the other members. The Secretary Treasurer is Prashanthi Manoharan, and the planner this evening is Matthew Peverini, and we are also joined by the Manager of Development Planning, who is Anna Enriquez, and Linda Barros is our committee secretary. This public meeting is being audio and video recorded. It is also being conducted virtually through the use of Zoom technology. Your name, address, comments, and any other personal information are being recorded according to the Municipal Act and the Municipal Freedom of Information and Protection of Privacy Act. This will help our town clerk prepare accurate minutes and to create a record that is available to the general public, including on the town's website. Questions about this collection should be directed to the town clerk. Please be advised that the reports being considered tonight are available on the Town of Aurora website and through staff at the town's planning department. Should you wish to receive a notification of any of the decisions of tonight's meeting, please complete the appropriate form available through town staff. Owners and agents will automatically be notified. For each application that will be considered tonight, the following process will occur. I will briefly outline the purpose of the applications, and then the applicant or agent will then be given the opportunity to make a presentation. However, one is not required. It is the applicant's decision whether they wish to speak or let the application proceed on the merits of the information as received. Following any initial comments from the applicant, I will invite members of the public who have an interest in the application to come forward and address the committee. Those members of the public who wish to speak must clearly state their name and address and must provide this information to the Secretary Treasurer. Should you wish to obtain a copy of the Notice of Decision, please complete the appropriate form, again available through the Secretary Treasurer. Members of the public are reminded that text comments are not permitted during the meeting and that they will not be noted in any manner or at any time. Each individual may speak only once on an issue, and once discussion has commenced in respect of a motion, no further presentations shall be made. And I'll remind the applicants that we try to limit the presentations to 5 minutes. If you do require any technical assistance with your presentation, please let me know. If you wish to speak and are currently following this meeting on YouTube, you will need to turn off this feed as there's about a 2-minute lag between the YouTube feed and the live feed. Please ensure that all questions and or comments are directed through me as the chair, and if relevant, I will request the appropriate person respond. It should be noted that the applicant will be given the opportunity to respond to any question or comments should the committee feel that it is appropriate. All right, so moving to tonight's agenda. So item number 1, I'll look to the committee to for a recommendation to approve the agenda for this evening. I see a finger up from Daniel, so I will take that as a motion to approve. Seconded. Steve, thank you. All in favor? Let's see everybody's hand. All right, thank you very much. Number 2, and I'll ask if there are any declarations of pecuniary interest or general nature thereof. Lots of heads shaking no. Wonderful. So we're all good there. On to the adoption of the minutes. So I'll ask the committee to approve the minutes of the meeting held in May, on May 13th, 2021, and that's meeting number 21-05. Steve, thank you. Seconded, Linda, great. All in favor of the minutes as circulated? And thank you. I think there was only one minor adjustment in the minutes, which Bershante, I think you've made that correction. So thank you very much for that. All right, so we'll move on to the presentation of the applications. So the first one this evening is for 20 Spruce Street, and that is family name there is Bruno, and the file number is MV 2021-11. So the application is as follows. The owner is requesting relief from the requirements of the town's comprehensive zoning bylaw number 6000-17 as amended to facilitate the construction of an attached garage to an existing dwelling. And the following relief is being requested. A, section 7.2 of the zoning bylaw requires a minimum interior side yard setback of 1.2 meters from one-story building. The applicant is proposing, it should be for a one-story building. The applicant is proposing a one-story garage addition with a south side setback of 0.6 meters. So the proposal is to construct a 18.58 square meter single car garage on the south side of the existing dwelling. We note that it is in the stable neighborhood designation in the official plan. We also note in the staff notes that the development will require a heritage permit to ensure it is consistent with the historic character of the neighborhood. And I believe that meeting was held on June the 7th. I think there will be some discussion on that point coming forward. So planning comments, and this relates to the official plan. Staff are of the opinion that the requested variance is consistent with the streetscape character of the neighborhood and therefore meets the general intent of the official plan. General intent of the zoning bylaw, I'll just a couple of comments there from staff that the side yard setback of a proposed addition widens from 0.6 meters to 1 meter towards the rear, which in the opinion of staff provides adequate room to access the rear yard between the two properties. So staff are of the opinion that the requested variance will not compromise the intended functions of the required interior side yard setback and therefore meets the general intent of the zoning bylaw. And its appropriateness for the development of the property, staff are of the opinion that the variance is desirable for the appropriate development of the property and to address concerns regarding potential damages to existing vegetation. Staff are recommending that approval be conditional on submission of an arborist report to the town for review and approval. With regards to the nature of the variances being minor, staff are of the opinion that the requested side yard setback variance is minor in nature. Other departments and circulation, building division, a preliminary zoning review was completed on May the 28th. And engineering division, no concerns with the proposed variance, subject to the applicant submitting a drainage plan to show that the roof drain downspouts for the proposed garage addition will be located away from the property line to avoid direct outlet of water onto the adjacent property. Operational services, again, an arborist report may be required as a condition of approval to assess the impact on existing vegetation and explore appropriate mitigation measures. Central York Fire Services, no comments received at the time of the report. York Region has no comments on the application. LSRCA, no comments have been received at the time of writing of the report. The subject property is located outside the area governed by OREG 179-06 under the Conservation Authorities Act, and Electra has no concerns. The town did receive a letter dated April 28th from the owner of 16 Spruce Street, immediately south of the subject property, in support of the requested variance. So good evening, Mr. Bruno. Nice to see you. Welcome to our meeting. And I'll ask you if there is a presentation that you would like to make to the committee.
Thank you for including me. There isn't a presentation. I think all the information I provided pretty much sums up what our request is. Again, all I'm really looking at is building a one-car garage located on the existing driveway to the south side of the property. Again, there is a 0.6 meter side back that we do require in order to allow for the garage to fit in the location. Fortunately, I know a couple of you, including yourself, Tom, did visit the property today to see the location, the house, where my request to locate the garage is. And I think by viewing that, which I appreciate that, does give you an idea about the reasoning behind why we want it located there. I think it fits, absolutely perfect in the location, given that it is an existing driveway. And I think given the request for, drainage, we can definitely ensure that the drainage is away from my neighbor's property. And I think we can definitely facilitate the ability for the trees behind the property to maintain their structure and maintain their livability, I guess it would be to say. So again, and the design fabric that we're planning to use is going to suit the historical design of the existing house. So, unless there's any questions, I'd probably leave it to you guys to make a decision if you have, I know you did see the property and so forth.
So thank you very much, Robert. I appreciate that. And yeah, I don't believe I was the only one who did visit your property. And I think I am remiss. And let me just correct something here. My screen doesn't show everybody who's attending the meeting, and I think I missed introducing Matthew Peverini. So my apologies, Matthew. It's nice to have you here with us this evening. So my apologies there. And I don't believe there is anyone from the public here who wishes to address this particular application. I believe I'm correct on that. I think the list that I saw this afternoon didn't include anyone. So what I'll do is I'll go right to members of the committee for any comments, and I'll start with Daniel. Thank you very much, Daniel.
Thank you, Tom. Through the chair, this question has to, or will be asked to the town. I know that this property is governed by the Ontario Heritage Act because it is situated within the Northeast Old Aurora Heritage Conservation District. And as such, there was a permit application that was submitted to the town and reviewed earlier this week. Would it be possible that the town give their understanding of the outcome or the discussions from that meeting on June 7th?
Through the chair, through a discussion with the heritage planner prior to this meeting, it is my understanding that the heritage meeting on June 7th went well. The proposal was well received with no concerns from committee.
Thank you. And to be fair, I'll ask the same question to the applicant. Is that your understanding of it as well? Even though Matthew's comments were in your favor, I just wanted to confirm that was the way that you saw it as well.
Yeah, my understanding and watching the meeting was that they approved it to go to council in order for full approval.
You mean committee?
The committee, yeah, approved it to go to council for full approval.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Perfect. So with that, Mr. Chair, that's all I wanted to get. Thank you.
Thank you, Daniel. Any other comments or questions from the committee? And I see, Steve, you have your hand up there, so please go right ahead.
Thank you, and through you, Mr. Chair, just a question to the applicant. So, Mr. Bruno, you referenced the one condition, the drainage report. I just wanted to make sure that you have read the staff report and that you are comfortable with the conditions outlined in the report should we approve the variance.
Yes, definitely.
Okay, thank you. Nothing further from me, Mr. Chair.
Thank you very much, Steve. Any other comments? Linda, yes, thank you. Go right ahead. You'll have to unmute your mic though, please.
There you go.
There we go.
Thank you. Through the chair, I'd just like to ask the applicant, the senior neighbors that you had next door, I was a little concerned about that they're well aware that window that they have on their home will be blocked. Like that they don't need to have the sunlight come in or anything, and they're okay with that completely. I know they wrote a letter on it and that, but I was a little concerned about that. I was also concerned about the staff report concerning the engineering for the drainage, but we've gone through that already, so I'm okay with that as long as you abide by that. That's my only kind of concern right there. The fact that you can't actually get on your property, on the corner of your property when the garage will be built, to do any maintenance on it without being almost on the neighbor's property. And if the neighbor were to leave and a new person were to move in, that might cause you some issues. That's all.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah, I did speak with the neighbor and explain the whole design of the garage and the location. Because of the 0.6 meters setback or side from the side, our plan is actually to be able to walk to our backyard from that area, just to have a little bit of a walkway. It will in fact provide a little more coverage for that window that you're referring to. And they were fine with that. The main reason was, I guess, the window in the location of their house is not, I guess, a specific room where they sit in and visualize, because truthfully, at the present moment, if they look out that window, they basically see into our kitchen. So it's not a view that they typically would have presently for themselves.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Linda. David, anything from you? I saw Michelle shaking her head. She's okay with it? Yeah. David, how about you? And your mic is muted, David, so if you could bring your mic back on.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, so yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair. At the moment, I don't have any comments. Basically, I had, but they have been addressed by other members or in the staff's report. The only thing which is actually minor, I don't even, if it's worth mentioning, was is that in the condition about drainage, and I'm sorry, maybe because it's a bias of my profession, I would rather be specific instead of just water. I would rather say storm water, so that it's very, very clear that it's water is coming from the downspouts. And I would put away there storm water rather than just saying water. Though we know it's water which will be rainwater or will be melting snow from the roof. It's something which I would have added, but it's not really important.
Okay, thank you, David. Yeah, I just a comment for both the applicant and for the members of the committee. I did spend a little bit of time with the applicant this afternoon. He was nice enough to explain in great detail what he was doing there. And I shared the same concerns as other members of the committee have already expressed. And I'm confident that in looking at the actual architecture, which again, that's Heritage's role here, but he's gone to great lengths to make this fit in with the existing home. So with that, it's not really a question; it's just a comment. So I'm certainly happy with this application. So I'll look to the committee now for a motion. See, Steve, you've got your hand up there, so please go ahead. Unless there was anybody else who had anything else. No, thank you. Go ahead, Steve, please. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Through you, I move that we approve minor variance application MV 2021-11, subject to the conditions outlined in the staff report.
Look for a seconder on the motion. David, thank you very much. All in favor? And that passes unanimously. So, Mr. Bruno, you have successfully come before the committee with your application, and we're pleased to report that it's been approved.
Okay, thank you very much. I appreciate your time.
You're very welcome. Enjoy the rest of your evening.
Thank you.
All right, and so we'll move on to the next application, which is 3 Wellington Heights Court. This is file MV 2021-12, and this is the Kushmer family. And this application, the owner, let's wait for my computer to catch up to me now. Yes, the owner applicant is requesting relief from the requirements of the town's comprehensive zoning bylaw 6000-17 as amended to permit outdoor swimming lessons. This is family. Oh, is there a problem with my audio here? No, I'm okay.
Can you hear us?
Yeah, we can hear you.
We can hear you.
All right, so I'm sorry, there was a bit of a glitch there that came through, and I apologize. So I'll just continue. This is an amendment to the comprehensive zoning bylaw 6000-17 as amended to permit outdoor swimming lessons at a home as a home occupation on the subject property, municipally known as 3 Wellington Heights Court. The following relief is being requested. A, Section 3 definitions defines a home occupation and includes possible home occupation uses which do not include outdoor swimming lessons. B, Section 4.6.1 requires that home occupations be conducted entirely within the dwelling or permitted accessory buildings. The applicant is requesting a home occupation be permitted outdoors for the purpose of conducting outdoor swimming lessons. So following the planning department review and preparation of this report, it was identified that a variance to section 4.6.1 is also required to recognize the outdoor component of the swimming lessons. The building division has updated the preliminary zoning review accordingly. So staff are of the opinion that this additional variance maintains the intent of the original notice and that proper notice has been provided in accordance with the Planning Act. So should the Committee of Adjustment approve the application, the additional variance to section 4.6.1 of the zoning bylaw should be included as part of the decision. So the reason I'm mentioning that is because that at the initial review, that second part was not included. So it was updated, and staff are of the opinion that the notices that were circulated are fine in accordance with the Planning Act for proper notification to have been done. So moving on to the planning comments. As it relates to the official plan, as noted, the town council approved official plan amendment 19 on June 19th of 2020 to permit outdoor swimming schools as home occupations. The proposed variance meets, therefore, the general intent of the official plan. With regards to the zoning bylaw, staff are of the opinion that the variance meet the general intent of the zoning bylaw. And the desirability and appropriateness of the development of the property, staff are of the opinion that the proposed use of swimming lessons in the existing pool will not function any differently than any other residential type of use of the pool, and therefore consider the proposal to be appropriate for the property. And its consideration of it being minor in nature. So having noted that the proposal meets the intent of the official plan zoning bylaw and will not detract from the site and surrounding areas residential character, it is is appropriate, therefore, for the subject land. So staff consider the proposed variances to be minor in nature. Other comments received from other agencies, Building Division, preliminary zoning review was completed on May the 4th, 2021, and then subsequently updated on June the 1st, 2021. Engineering Division, no concerns on the application. Operational Services, no comments received at the time of writing of the report. Legal Services, no comments or objections. Bylaw Services has no objection to the proposal and recommends the following conditions of approval. Worth noting that the applicant arranged for an inspection with Bylaw Services to ensure the pool enclosure complies with municipal requirements to the satisfaction of the Bylaw Services Department. And second bullet, that the applicant prepare a COVID-19 safety plan to the satisfaction of the Bylaw Services Department, and the information on a COVID-19 safety plan is available and the link is provided there. Central York Fire Services, no comments have been received. Region of York, York Region has no comments on the application. LSRCA is not commenting on the application. It is located outside the area governed by OREG 179-06. And Electra Utilities, no comments specific to the proposed outdoor swimming lessons, but they do provide their general comments. And that is all of the comments from commenting agencies. 2 emails were received at the time of writing of the report. One from a resident at 291 Aurora Heights Boulevard stating they have no objection to this matter, and the second from 2 residents at 2 Wellington Heights Court, which states they support the neighbor's application for the outdoor swimming lessons. And there are conditions of approval. And so I will turn to the applicants. I see that they are with us this evening. So welcome. I believe we've got Carrie, George, and is it Ryland or Ryan?
Ryland.
Ryland, so it is correct. So good evening and welcome to the committee. And I'll ask if you wish to make a presentation or speak about your application. The floor is yours.
I'll just speak first, Ryland. Thank you, committee members, for hearing us this evening, and we're happy to be here. This is my wife, Carrie. I'm George, and this is our son, Ryland, who's in grade 11. Yes, we put in an application for variance, and Ryland can describe it a little bit better. And I'd like to thank the members of the committee for considering our application. And thank you, Tom, for coming by our house to inspect our house and get the lay of the land here. Rollin is a fully trained swimming instructor, and he can go into more details about that. And we're obviously made an application so he could do a swim school for private lessons here at home. And with regard to the two requirements that you spoke about, Rollin can go into more detail, but yes, we will definitely have a detailed COVID plan. And we do have an enclosure around our pool. And I don't know if someone came by to inspect it yet or not, but if not, we'll follow up with.
Oh, no, that's already arranged and everything, yeah.
Yeah, they're coming by to do that. And there you go. Rollin, go ahead and maybe you can say a few words about what your plans are.
So hi, I'm Rollin Kirschmeyer, and I'm running Aquafun Backyard Swim School. So yeah, it's basically just only private or semi-private lessons, and it has to be with family members, same family members. If it's going to be semi-private, it's due to COVID. And yeah, that's basically what I'm going to be doing.
And you put together a really comprehensive listing with he's become a Red Cross training partner. So for that, he had to do a whole COVID protocol as well too. So that's good. He's kind of done a lot of homework on that already.
Yeah. So I have the whole plan with that.
Yeah.
All right. That's fantastic. Thank you for bringing us up to date on that, Rollin. That's terrific. I know that there are a number of, I was telling your dad, there are a number of similar operations. I know my daughter was lucky enough to find a really great swim instructor, and she ended up swimming on the Aurora High School swim team and competed and did quite well. So if she didn't have that swimming instruction, I'm sure she wouldn't have been quite as successful. All right. I don't believe there is anyone here from the public who wishes to address the committee. And so I will turn to the members of the committee if there are any comments or questions. I see hands going up. Let's start with Linda, if you want to unmute your mic there and go right ahead this time.
There we go. Hi, thank you very much. Nice meeting everybody. Through the chair, I just wanted to double check a couple of things. I don't know all the COVID protocol that's necessary for the swim thing. However, I just wanted to double check you had your, like your Red Cross, your St. John's ambulance or something that had first aid as well, in case there was an accident. Do you know what to do? Do you have all that set up in case, God forbid something happened, but you know what I mean, that you were qualified to do that?
Yeah, I'm fully trained with first aid, and I've taken bronze medallion, bronze cross, and also water safety instructor, and also a national lifeguarding from the NLS, National Lifeguard Society. So I have all my certifications for in case of a worst case scenario could happen or something like that.
Oh.
And then the NLS and the Red Cross water safety instructor, both of those had the emergency first aid components in them. That's built into the course. Like that's a mandatory first aid emergency. Yeah, that's included.
Okay, I thank you very much. That's what I wanted to know, just the first aid part and safety first, right? Okay, thank you.
Of course.
Yeah. And the Red Cross training program that he's applied to and was just accepted into, it's a pretty rigorous application process as well. So it's like they won't approve anybody. So he's gone through that whole thing, showing his accreditations and everything.
Perfect. That's wonderful.
Thank you, Linda. Michelle, yes, you had your hand up. Please go right ahead.
So through the chair, just some comments. First of all, I commend you as an industrious young man to get a job and round up some students and give them lessons. So I think that's great. Congratulations. I was a Red Cross and the medallion as well. I was a lifeguard, not an instructor, but it's a great job for the summer. You're outside all day and it's a great place to be for sure, rather than being stuck inside somewhere. Just a comment that earlier on, I did have a concern about liability. And, if that was, if a waiver was going to be necessary for you to have your students sign or have something signed with the town. And I just wanted to make the comment that I did check in with the senior planners within the town and the staff. And I did get feedback back that a waiver was not necessary. And there was no risk at putting the town at risk in terms of any liability should something catastrophic happen. So I just wanted to just make you aware that we did check on that, and it looks like you're good to go from that perspective. So from my perspective, I don't have any issues with this application.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Just so you know, though, it's actually been a very rigorous process trying to obtain the right insurance for this. So we have bought a $5 million liability insurance on top of our homeowner insurance. And it's been a big process because everything's changed in that industry.
Because of COVID.
Because of COVID and everything. So I've been working on it since February, but we have secured the right insurance and it's finally in place.
Perfect. Great. That's all for me.
All right, thank you very much, Michelle. I see Daniel's got his hand up there. So Daniel, go right ahead, please.
Thank you. I'll just start similar to Michelle's intro by thanking Ryland for the walk down memory lane, because I went through pretty much everything you said. The only changes is that there used to be the word royal and everything. That's the only change. I've done exactly as you described. So thank you for that stroll down memory lane and making me feel old. That being said, one quick comment. When you were talking about, I believe your dad, when he was talking about the conditions, he had mentioned two and that articulated condition B and C. I just wanted to remind there actually is three conditions. The first one being that the operating hours of the swimming lessons as a home occupation occur between 9 a.m. and 5 p.m. I don't believe that's an issue, but I just wanted to remind it since it was articulated that there were two. And then the last thing is purely nothing for conditions or anything like that. Just a thought as I did drive through 2-3 days ago. And I remember when I did something similar that parents like to wait in the car with the air conditioning running for the 30 to 60 minutes. If you could encourage parents to wait, or for others to wait outside of the vehicle instead of running their car for that amount of time, I'm sure your neighbors would appreciate it. But just a comment, nothing more than that. So thank you and best of luck.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Daniel. David, anything, or Steve?
Through the chair, I don't have any comments. Fortunately or unfortunately, all what I had has been addressed in the staff's report, and even other members have already asked similar questions. The concerns about the safety, whether they've got all the equipment, around the swimming pool, whether they've got the special insurance about the swimming, about the inspection by the municipal staff to make sure that everything is in place, just for safety, public safety. So all my concerns have been addressed. So I don't have any comments, no questions. Thank you.
Thank you, David. Steve?
No, thank you. I think David just summarized it very well. I'll add my congratulations to the family. Love to see these home businesses and industrious nature, and Ryland, best of luck, assuming that this gets approved. So that's it for me, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Steve. And I'll just, my comments are, well, Ryland, you weren't there this afternoon when I popped by, and I just had a nice chat with your father, and I did meet one of your other brothers who has obviously set maybe he did, or maybe he didn't set your wheels in motion, but I discovered that he started his own landscaping business, and it looks like you've got some industrious shoes to follow in, Ryland, but it looks like you're well on your way. And so I want to commend you and obviously your your brothers are of equal caliber in pursuing their interests. So well done. My only concern was addressed, but I'll bring it up again, and that was, for these home occupations, my concern is parking in some cases, especially if you've got, someone coming, someone in the pool, and someone leaving. So you might have, 3 cars there, and you may even have more depending on, if it's one neighbor and then that neighbor's child, you end up with a little congregation of neighbors. And that did happen when my daughter was taking backyard swimming lessons. Just turned out that way. Half of the kids that were going there were our neighbors, and on a nice sunny day, you're in someone's backyard, and it's a Saturday morning, and we would often go over with a cup of coffee, and then there's 5 or 6 cars. That was my initial concern, and I mentioned this to your dad. But the parking that you've got around you is there's no restrictions on the streets. You are in a corner, but you've also got a very nice and large accommodating driveway there, which I was glad to see. So that was one of my only other concerns, and it's been addressed. So with that, seeing no questions from me, but congratulations on this initiative, and I'll look to the committee for a motion on the application. Daniel, go right ahead.
Thank you. Through you, the chair, I move that we approve minor variance MV 2021-12 as outlined within the report, including the 3 conditions discussed already.
Thank you, and I'll look to the committee for a seconder on that motion, please. Michelle, thank you very much. Seconded, and I'll call the question. All of those in favor? And I see everybody's hand up and down. Great, thank you. So that carries unanimously. And Ryland, I don't know how many years you intend to offer these lessons, but just so that you're aware, the way this committee works is we're not just approving it for this season or this year. We're allowing you to continue to do this as long as you want. The approval is an ongoing approval, so you may be very busy for the next few summers at least. So congratulations.
Thank you.
And thank you for joining the committee meeting this evening. Enjoy the rest of it. Go for a swim.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Mr. Chair, and thank you, committee members. We really appreciate that.
Our pleasure. All right, moving on to the last application that's before the committee this evening. This is minor variance application for St. Andrew's College at 15900 Yonge Street. And this is file MV 2021-13. And so the owner applicant is requesting relief from the requirements of the town's comprehensive zoning bylaw 6000-17 as amended to permit a private school use in an existing building on the property. The following relief of the town's zoning bylaw 6000-17 as amended is requested: A, to permit a private school, whereas the use is not a listed permitted use in the EP 97 zone. And let's just go right to the planning comments. With regards to the official plan, staff are satisfied that the intent of the official plan is being maintained. With respect to the zoning bylaw and the general intent of it, staff recommend that the parking lot area be striped, in brackets painted, to delineate the parking spaces, which include 32 parking spaces and 1 accessible space, as generally as shown on the attached plan, Appendix B. As condition of approval, staff recommend that the owner submit a site plan application, a minor site plan application to address the site improvements required to accommodate the proposed new use for review and approval to the satisfaction of the Director of Planning and Development Services. Staff also recommends a condition of approval that the total gross floor area of the proposed private school use be a maximum of 242 square meters or 2,600 square feet. In reviewing the variance and its appropriateness for development of the property, the intent is to provide a temporary site for St. Anne's School until the main site is ready for occupancy. The proposed use does not impact the heritage attributes identified in the heritage designation bylaw and therefore does not require a heritage permit. And moving forward, if I again can get my computer to cooperate here. So transportation staff are satisfied with the access points into the property and parking spaces provided. Staff are of the opinion that the minor variance is desirable and appropriate development of the property. Staff are of the opinion that the proposed minor variance for a private school use is minor in nature and provides for no negative impact to the subject property or existing area. Other comments that have been received from various departments and agencies: Building Division preliminary zoning review completed on May 11th, 2021. Engineering Division, no concerns on the application. Transportation is satisfied with the proposal, no objections. Parks, no concerns with the application. Operational Services, no comments received at the time of writing of the report. Accessibility Advisor, no concerns on the application. Central York Fire Services. So Central York Fire Services has no objection to the application for minor variance. The proposed use of the building would be considered a change to the current occupancy classification and may require a change of use permit via the building department. Where the proposed changes require a building permit, Central York Fire Services would conduct a comprehensive review via the permit application process for Ontario Building Code compliance for matters such as, and not limited to, fire department access, water supply for firefighting, fire protection, life safety systems, etc. Pardon me. York Region has no comments on the application. And Lake Simcoe Region Conservation Authority, the application is located within the area governed by OREG 179-06 under the Conservation Authorities Act, and is requesting the following conditions. One, that the owner shall pay all development fees to the Lake Simcoe Region Conservation Authority in accordance with the approved fees. And two, that the owner obtain a permit from the Lake Simcoe Region Conservation Authority prior to the proposed development and site alteration. Electra, utilities, no comments, and Heritage, 15900 Yonge Street is designated under Part 4, Part 4 of the Ontario Heritage Act. And the heritage attributes identified in designation bylaw 3415-92 all relate to the main dwelling known as the Willow Farm House. Given the requested variance only applies to accessory building, which is not subject to protection by the designation bylaw, heritage staff are of the opinion that the heritage integrity of the property will not be adversely affected. And there were no written submissions received at the time staff prepared the report. So I will welcome the applicants. Good evening. Welcome to the Town of Aurora Committee of Adjustment meeting. And I believe we have Beth Carter representing the owner, Rowan Sovig, and Lincoln Lowe from Malone Given Parsons. Good evening, welcome. And if you wish to make a presentation, I see that Prashanthi is bringing that forward. Thank you very much.
Yep, we've got a quick presentation. Thank you, Tom, for that very detailed overview. So I'll probably skip through a few of the stuff. But yes, good evening. My name is Rowan Servig, planner at Malone Given Parsons. I'm here representing St. Andrews College and St. Anne's Schools, the owners of the property at 5900 Yonge Street. As you mentioned, I am joined today by Beth Carter from St. Andrews College as well. So if there are any questions after the fact, I'm more than happy to answer them. If you go to the next slide, please. So as you mentioned, the variance application for you this evening is looking to permit private school use on the subject property. Note right on, I guess, right at Yonge at St. John's, 5900 Yonge Street. To give you guys a bit of a background context, St. Anne's School is an all-girls school, which is operating under the St. Andrews College umbrella. And they're planning to open their own campus just north of the site. So if you look at the top left of your corner, that's the planned location of it. They'll be utilizing the existing Dunn Estate home with construction and planning applications currently underway. Opening of that main campus is scheduled for the end of 2022. However, due to the strong demand to offer a grade 9 cohort to a group of young women, there is a need to have classroom space at the start of September 2022 to house them. So while the main campus is under construction, again, St. Anne's is proposing to utilize an existing 2-story garage at 5900 Yonge Street and convert it into classroom space on a temporary basis. As I mentioned, these lands are located in the southwest corner of Yonge and St. John's. This location is an ideal setting for this offering as it is removed but adjacent to the St. Andrews College campus, which is on the, I guess, the southern portion of your screen. So it provides easy access to their facilities, possible synergies, supports their unique level of programming, and is set on a very beautiful property. So in order to facilitate this use, a minor variance is required to permit the private school. Currently, the zoning bylaw permits a business office with accessory management training on the subject property, and the private school use would function in a very similar to the existing business office and accessory management training, which is currently permitted. So there you'll see the location of the garage and a quick snapshot of the garage space. If you want to actually flip to the next slide as well too, just to show the garage in more detail. So as noted earlier, the classroom space is planned to be located within this existing 2-story garage, 2,600 square feet across the first and second floor. And there'll be a max capacity of 40 students at this location. So renovations are required to the existing garage to accommodate the private school. We'll be putting, St. Anne's will be putting in 3 large windows at the rear, a fire escape at the rear for the second floor. And to speak on, I guess, the fire comments as well too. I know St. Anne's has had informal discussions with the fire department, so they are working on upgrades to the property to address those comments in advance, essentially, of the future site plan application process and the building permit process as well too. As I mentioned before, the school space is only intended to be temporary and will aid St. Anne's School and the town in attracting young and talented female students by providing a space to learn and teach in advance of the full opening of the main campus. The variance is minor in nature, as additional permitted use will not result in any new buildings or changes to the build form. It is not anticipated that the daily activities that currently exist will be negatively impacted by the users brought by the proposed school use over and above that of a typical business office tenant. In my opinion, this application represents good planning, is minor in nature, and meets the requirements of the Planning Act for minor variance. Furthermore, I have also read the staff report, agree with their analysis and conclusions, and we've also reviewed the proposed conditions as you stated, and I have no issues with them. So if there's any further questions, I'm happy to answer them, and obviously Beth Carter as well too.
So thank you very much, Rohan. I appreciate the presentation, and actually probably as much the entire
visuals?
sort of, well, not just the visuals, but the overall plan, coming forward. in the packages that we've got, it certainly it focuses on the application itself in this location. So very much appreciate the presentation. All right, and again, I have a duty to ask if there are any members of the public who are here who wish to address the committee, and I will just double check with staff. I don't believe on this application we have any this evening. Prashanthi, am I correct there?
Yeah, you're correct. Through you, Mr. Chair, we have no delegates for this application.
Wonderful. So with that, I will turn then to the members of the committee for any comments or questions on the application. Michelle, please kick us off. Thank you.
Thank you. Through the chair, just a comment. I think it's great that the town has a new all girls private school. It's not just St. Andrew's College just for the boys. I used to live on Willow Farm and, was jealous when my daughter, didn't have a private school to go to. So congratulations on securing the land and beginning of that, the big endeavor that the college is moving on to. The question I had was for the school and the students, are they going to be, are they boarding as well, or is it just a day school for this? And if they're boarding, I guess, where will they stay?
So maybe
this,
Beth.
Yeah, Beth, I don't know if you want to take this question as well too, but yeah, go ahead. Actually, you're the expert.
No, there's no boarding, and actually, our rollout plan, even when we open at the location, when we start, there's no boarding there either. We might look at a homestay program or something like that to accommodate sisters of boarding students that are already at SAC, but we don't have any boarding facilities.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Anything else, Michelle?
No, I'm good. Thanks.
You're good. All right. Thank you very much. Daniel, please go right ahead.
Thank you. Through the chair. To Rohan or Beth. Unfortunately, I didn't feel comfortable driving into to the facility as I was looking around. First question that sort of piggybacks on Michelle's question. Is the existing driveway a loop or is it two separate driveways? I'm referring to the one on Yonge and then the one on St. John Side Road. I guess that will be the first question, and from there I'll have further.
Yeah, maybe I'll answer that. It is a loop, like you can drive straight through and around, but typically our access is off St. John Side Road for the property. The access onto Yonge is there, but it's not typically used by the tenants or by anybody going into the property.
Perfect. So actually that does piggyback on my thought or concern. It's my background's a little bit on traffic and so forth. So I see, at least if I'm reading this correctly, there was no traffic analysis done in terms of people who are heading eastward, who are traveling either off of Yonge or across St. John Side Road. And if there is traffic coming the opposite way, there could be a backlog, and there's only a couple of vehicle distances between that entrance and Yonge Street. I guess I'll switch to the town now. Has any considerations been made in terms of the impact of backed up traffic as multiple families try to come in at about the same time as traffic, removing COVID considerations out of traffic patterns at this time? But has any considerations, any reviews been done on traffic regarding that small 4-car length between the intersection and the driveway been looked into?
Through the chair, transportation staff are satisfied with the access points into the property. Matters you're citing are site plan matters that will be captured in a future site plan application that's required as a condition of approval for this application.
So that would be reviewed through the site plan?
Yes.
Okay, sorry to repeat, I just wanted to confirm. So thank you. So if that is the case, then my only concern has been acknowledged. Thank you. Thank you to all. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Daniel. Let's go to Steve, please. Go right ahead.
Thank you, and through you, Mr. Chair. Just a few comments, not really questions, but piggybacking on the, I was also looking for the traffic analysis, and I understand why there isn't one there. I also understand this is temporary in nature, but I don't see the recommendation having a temporal component on it. So if we were to change have a change of use designation, in theory, it could become a school for the future. And I noticed that area at Young and St. John's is subject to will be subject to quite a bit of change if we've got Shining Hill there and an official plan amendment that's before the town, and however that turns out, there is quite a bit of additional traffic flow that is potentially going to be going through St. John's side road and that Young Street area. So I recognize this will be reviewed through the site plan analysis, but I strongly encourage town to consider that if for whatever reason and plans change, this were to become more permanent or a more lengthy process, and depending on what else happens in that area. And I would also say to the applicant, I think you've got the benefit of having 2 access points and being able to create a loop. So that is actually a luxury that's there if there is too much traffic that ends up coming through St. John's. But that is one of the concerns that I see with this application that will be addressed through site plan review. The other consideration I had there, I'm always concerned when I see a change of use, especially in an environmental protection designation. I recognize that the building is existing and the footprint is not changing there. So that alleviated my concern. And I also saw that staff have recommended a condition that you have already addressed and are comfortable with. So those were the 2 concerns that I had with this site. One that will be addressed through site plan, and I encourage staff and the town staff and the applicant to consider that carefully. And the rest, I'm satisfied in terms of the gross floor area condition that's been placed on this variance. So just comments more than questions. Thank you, Tom.
Thank you, Steve. I'll let the applicant, if they do want to make any comment, on any of the feedback that you're getting from members of the committee. If you wish to comment on that, I'll certainly allow that to take place. So I don't know if there are any comments that you want to make with respect to the to what you've already heard. I'll leave that open if you wish to.
Well, we're used to working with traffic consultants to give us good advice on, the best way, because, we want it to be safe for our families as well to come onto the campus and to be logical. So, I'm sure that we'll get to that through the site plan process.
Okay, thank you very much for that, Beth. I appreciate it. Moving on to any other comments or questions from members of the committee. Linda, I'll let you go right ahead, please.
Hi, thank you very much. And through the chair, a couple of questions. I mean, obviously I'm concerned about what the fire department will do to ensure that it's safe now. And it obviously they're going to bring in more washrooms and different accommodations for the girls to be in there. And so we'll just have to rest assured that that'll all be taken care of with the smoke detectors, everything else. How many girls exactly, how many students are you planning on having in the new classrooms?
Well, the maximum number that I understand from the fire department regulations would be 40, but we don't think we'll have quite that many. So we think it'll be one section, which is 20, and maybe we'll get into part of a second section as well.
Okay. All right. Yeah, and that gets to my other question with the traffic too. Obviously that'll be dealt with because it's only 20 families versus 40 versus 60. I wasn't sure what that number was going to be, but all my best wishes. Good luck with that. And it's nice to have a girls' school, as Michelle said, in the area as well. So thank you.
Thank you, Linda. Yes, David, please go right ahead.
Through the chair, thank you. had similar concerns like other members of the committee, and it seems some of the issues have been addressed. I just have one suggestion for condition number 2, because the way I've heard from others and even my concerns, if we could word instead of mentioning like one like parking, road stripping, fire access, etc., to encompass maybe with 2 words, it's just a suggestion, to say transportation issues, and I would say Central York Fire Services issues, because that way it covers transportation, it covers traffic, covers parking, it covers access, all those matters. And for the fire services, it covers everything to deal with access in terms of fire. It deals with firefighting, it deals with fire protection, the water supply, all the safety system. So, because the reason I'm saying this is, you may find sometimes at site plan stage, some of things are missed, or would say things were not mentioned. So I would see questions from members here. Of course, though we have something from the staff's report that will be considered as site plan, still members were still mentioning those specific matters. In other words, those are the concerns they have, worried whether they will be looked after or not. You know what I mean? So my suggestion is maybe when it comes to that condition where it says address issues including but not limited to, instead of parking, sleeping, whatever, would say transportation and the Central York Fire Services issues, which will encompass a lot of all those in there. Just a suggestion.
So, David, what we can do, there's a number of ways that we can address it. That's actually, appreciate you bringing that forward. What we can do in that second condition is perhaps by addition, where it says fire access, etc., replace fire and just add fire access as contained in the staff report.
Yes, that will be,
because that then encompasses the staff report as part of the condition.
Yes.
We can do it that way, which I probably would suggest that whoever brings the a motion forward, assuming that it's to approve, that they might want to just mention that particular condition, and any addition to that one line, you can go ahead and insert that. And again, and that was a point, it's a good point. Any other comments from the members of the committee? Yeah, I'll just to the applicant here in this particular case, as has been brought up by David Mango. Obviously, you're aware of what I went through in summarizing the application. The details in the Central York Fire comments are pretty detailed as it relates to building code and fire safety. It's not just fire safety, but it's building code as well.
Yeah.
So if you're comfortable, and understanding that that's part of this, that's the reason why we want to make sure that it's covered off.
Yeah, we're aware of it, and more importantly, St. Andrews as well too.
Fantastic, thank you there, Ryan. I appreciate that. One of the things, and maybe I'll question to staff. The application refers to a requirement. Is it a requirement? Is there a requirement for 32 parking spaces plus one handicap? Is that the minimum requirement? And is that based on the fact that it's a school and a room with capacity? Can Matthew, can you elaborate on that for me, please?
Through the chair, the preliminary zoning review has confirmed that the parking, as indicated with 32 spaces and one accessible space, is in conformity with the zoning bylaw that includes this proposed use. So the 32 spaces with the accessible parking would be sufficient to support this use.
Is it a minimum based on the square footage? Do we know?
Through the chair, I'm not sure if it's a minimum, but it complies with the requirements of the zoning bylaw. So there is definitely not a shortfall.
Okay. So to the applicant, and I'll direct it to whoever is most comfortable with answering the question. So based on, let's say 40 students, are you suggesting that because this is a day situation as opposed to a resident situation, are parents going to be up to 40 parents going to be driving in and dropping off children and then picking them up at the end of the day? Is that what I'm understanding?
Yeah, I would imagine so. It would be similar to a regular school. They'd just be driving in, dropping off the students and leaving.
So therefore, you've got 32 parking spaces. If they're, coming in, taking the stuff that they need for the day out of the car, you're giving them an opportunity to actually physically park and take a 5 minutes or whatever time they need in order to offload their child and whatever they need for the day. And then again, at the end of the day, to be able to come in, park if they wish, and pick up. Am I correct?
Yeah, Mr. Chair, I think that the requirement for the 32 parking spaces was when the zoning bylaw was put in place for Quick Copy College. So it's not really a requirement related to this minor variance. It was a requirement related to the old zoning, special exemption zoning that was in place then. And so what the town asked was, could we confirm that those parking spaces existed? We don't think we're going to have 32 families parking there, and the girls won't be driving. So they're coming in and going. But it was just a check from the town to make sure that the previous zoning bylaw the parking was there.
Okay, thank you. That helps clarify where the number came from and what have you.
Sorry to interrupt, Tom. If I could just help clarify Beth's comments. She is correct. The zoning bylaw actually requires the parking spaces based on the number of classrooms. I don't remember the exact number, but I can tell you that what they are proposing in the 32 spaces is well in excess of what's required for this specific use. And the town is requiring the striping just to recognize the spaces that currently exist today.
Thank you. That's I really appreciate that clarification.
Okay. You're welcome.
And I have to say, when I was there, I did the maybe not this so obvious, but guess what driveway I missed and ended up driving into your neighbor a little further west on St. John's Side Road, who was a lovely lady, and we had a great chat. And by the way, she's excited about this particular application. She sure doesn't, or they don't have any issues with it. But she did because she was there, and because her driveway is a little bit further west of yours. Was very quick to point out the number of accidents that have occurred, even coming in and out of her property. She was involved herself in an accident from somebody coming east as she was pulling it out, and another accident that she saw in your driveway. Where someone was pulling out onto St. John's Side Road, heading east, and somebody decided they wanted to cut even inside her in the turning lane as she was pulling out, and his driver's side hit her passenger side. And it was apparently quite a mess. And I have those same concerns from a traffic perspective. With that many cars coming in, it's kind of a fixed time, I would assume, in the morning, and a fixed, somewhat more staggered time in the evening. potentially. So I do have some concerns with regards to traffic, but that will be picked up at site plan, which I'm glad that is going to occur at that point. The 32 spaces, the ones that I'm a little bit concerned about are actually the ones up against the proposed structure, the garage there. That is a very lovely interlock stone driveway at that point, and you're going to be painting lines on it. And I tried driving my car right up to the building this afternoon and then backing out. I didn't have too much trouble, but they're very tight in terms of the length of a car, and then the laneway behind it is very tight. The good news is it's a garden, so if you in the winter, it's going to probably be a snowbank. But anyway, but those are my comments. I guess to make sure that they're visible and painted accordingly is something that is a bit of a pet peeve with me and some of the applications that we've gone through over the years. Members of the committee know that about me. So I'm glad that they will be lined and marked. The other question I have for you is, this application is and will only pertain to the structure itself. In other words, we're not creating a minor variance for the property, we're creating a minor variance for the use in that particular building. Is there a potential, and I thought I heard a comment, Rowan, that you made, that they may continue to use this in the future. Is that something that is more likely to occur or less likely to occur? Maybe Rowan or Beth can answer that.
Yeah, Beth, do you want to answer that? I'm not sure about the potential future use, but in the short term, until the campus is open, it is intended there. And Beth, if you know more about the future plans of the school.
Yeah, so right now the tenant uses the garage space on the main floor, and there is sort of an attic space or like a second level space that would make a good classroom. So we have some outdoor ed stuff happening, and they go through the trails and that kind of thing. So if there was a stopping point for the boys or the girls in the future, that would be helpful. But we probably would convert the main floor of the garage back into a garage area. So I had said to Rohan, I don't see taking out the garage doors themselves. Like, we'll kind of put some windows in and fix it up a bit, but we are anticipating that the use would return to a garage on the main floor.
Okay. Is there any potential use by the college, either St. Anne's or St. Andrews, of the tennis? Is that tennis court being used at the moment?
No, it's not being used at the moment. We haven't kind of refurbished it. We wondered about maybe putting like some basketball nets up there in case the kids wanted to go there, but we really haven't done anything about that right now.
Okay. All right. I think you've answered any of my comments and questions. So I see Michelle's got her hand up again. So yeah. Please, Michelle.
Thank you. Through you, the chair. I'm wondering if the applicant can show us the traffic pattern in terms of the drop off, because again, if it's more dropping off and it's all about the traffic and safety. We had a couple of these applications from other education facilities, private schools and so on, where the loop for cars coming in, dropping off, and then getting the cars out without either cars smashing into each other or kids having to cross across vehicles coming and going. It's certainly all about the safety of the children. And if you could show us maybe on the map how that traffic pattern that you're considering or you're thinking about will work, just so that I'm comfortable with the safety aspects of the traffic coming and going, given that you are going to be day school.
Yeah, and we haven't done the traffic study yet, but my thought is that people would enter the property off St. John Side Road, so they'd be heading east to get in, like that's the easiest way to get in, and then they would exit right onto Yonge Street in the loop, and they would drop off in front of the garage area.
So there wouldn't be any intersection of cars coming and going out of the driveway from St. John's there?
I don't think that the driveway is really wide enough to accommodate two-way traffic. So I think that, you know, if we had a traffic consultant come in, I think that that would be the likely outcome of what they would say. Okay. And I think that it would be no left turns in, like always right turns in and right turns out.
I think that will certainly help in terms of the accident potential on those left-hand turns.
And just to add that this will site circulation and all these other issues will be dealt to the site plan application process as well too. So the town staff will work with them to figure out the best solution.
Yep. Thank you.
Thank you, Michelle, for bringing that up. That's good information for us to help us make a decision on this. Any other comments or questions? And anything else from the applicant? I think we've covered it off fairly well. All right, I'm going to look to the committee for a motion, and if we also in that want to address the conditions, and in particular condition 2 in the appendix, I'll look for a motion from the committee. So yes, go ahead, David. You'll have to unmute your mic, please.
For that.
There we go. Thank you.
Sorry. Through the chair, I move that the minor variance application MV-2021-13 be approved subject to conditions in the staff's report. And also that for condition number 2, where it says etc., that is ETC, it should be replaced by and all issues indicated in staff's report. And then to the satisfaction of the Director of Planning and Development Services. I can repeat that for condition number 2, to replace the word etc. with the words and all issues indicated in staff's report.
Thank you. I'll look for a seconder on that motion, please. Linda, thank you. So I'll call a question. All of those in favor of the motion? And that carries. Thank you very much. So thank you, Lincoln, Beth, and Rohan for joining us this evening. And congratulations.
Thank you.
Just as a parting comment, this committee did look at the application that came forward for the building on Yonge Street and the conversion of that. Beth, you'll be more familiar than Malone Given Parsons will, but for the building that is almost, I guess, finished being renovated for the apartment creation for staff members. And from my perspective, I think you've done a wonderful job on that one. It really does look terrific. You've done a great job, and I'm sure the staff who will be occupying that are going to be very comfortable and very happy. So congratulations on that as well. And I'll wish you a very good evening, and thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, that concludes the applications for this evening. Committee members, I'll look to the committee and or staff for any new business. Michelle.
Through you, the chair, I have a piece of new business. It is with great sadness that I must tender my resignation this evening from the Committee of Adjustment for the town of Aurora. I will be moving in less than 4 weeks and will no longer be a resident of Aurora. And so thusly, I am unable to serve on the committee. And with that, so I ask that you accept my resignation in that regard. I do want to thank, first off, the town council for nominating and accepting my my proposal to join the committee 2.5 years ago. And secondly, the town for putting up with me and for being there for all of our questions and anytime we needed clarification and so on, plus their training and due diligence to ensure that we as a committee acted in good faith and understood all of the rules and regulations of being on the committee. And finally, a thank you to you, Tom, for chairing and being a great grand poobah for the committee. And finally, to my fellow committee members here today, and Clarence, who of course had to resign earlier for same reasons earlier this year. So again, I just want to thank everybody for the opportunity, and I certainly hope and look forward to serving in my new community when I move in finally in a month's time.
Well, Michelle, I guess, yeah, I guess, you know, we knew this was coming, and, you know, we knew that you've got a very exciting future ahead of you, moving into a new community, and Collingwood are certainly going to benefit if you do decide to offer your time and your expertise in any capacity with the town. So you can certainly count on us to put in a good word if we can, if you need. I don't think that'll be necessary. And I want to thank you for, on behalf of myself, and I'm sure the other members of the committee, and I'm sure they'll want to say the same for your participation and your expertise and you know, your contribution to the Committee of Adjustment. I've enjoyed having you on this committee and working with you, and I'm sure the rest of us have as well. And we wish you all the best. And we're going to certainly keep our eye on what's happening in Collingwood from now on.
Thank you so much.
Steve.
Thank you, through you, Mr. Chair. I'd also like to address Michelle and just say thanks. It's been an absolute pleasure. You know, your approach has always been extremely balanced between the applicant's needs, considering the applicant's needs, considering the town's needs, considering every time the environment's needs, and I did appreciate that. Just a very balanced approach, very strong personality. Just your views were always appreciated, and you know, it as I say, it's been an absolute pleasure, and I hope we can keep in touch. So,
thank you.
Yes, Daniel, sure.
I'd like to just mirror the comments from my colleagues, because yes, you have been much appreciated, and always enjoyed you thinking of the things that the rest of us have forgotten about. So truly appreciate your time, your expertise, and hopefully next time I go to Blue Mountain, I'll see you walking by. So thank you.
Drop by for a coffee or a glass of wine.
There you go. Wine it is.
All right. Yeah, yes, David, yes.
Yeah, so it's sad to hear this news. Cheryl, we just known each other. I was happy. I was saying, oh, the committee now is full, and you know, new faces, new friends, and so on. I liked your contribution on the committee, good questions and so on. Actually, maybe reading my mind about the questions I'm going to ask. Then I say, okay, just asked already. That's okay. That's okay. So we'll miss you, and you know, I know we've known each other for a short time, but it has been good time. So wish you the best, you know, new move. And this is a small world, you know. Some of us like visiting, you know, different places. We may meet again.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Family, good life.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Linda?
I unmuted on time this time. Listen, it's been, I'll get it straight one day. See, I've still got so much to learn. I'm sad you're going because you were, an inspiration. You had the right questions. You were right in there and you would just jumped in there and like something I hope to be like down the road a little bit with my experience right now. But anyway, I wish you the best of luck. Thanks for all you've already done this, instructing me along the way. And I'm listening to you and I hope you all the best in Collingwood and the future. And anyway, thanks very much. And good luck to you.
Thanks to you. Thank you.
Thanks.
Any other new business from the members of the committee? No, we're all good. Staff. Anna, Matthew, Prashanthi, anything under new business that we'd like to bring up?
I don't really have anything to say, but just to say thanks, Michelle. Thanks for all the tough questions you ask and keeping us on our toes before the meetings, and all the best.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you. So I guess with that, I'll look for a motion to adjourn. Steve.
Thank you. Through you, the chair, I move that we adjourn this session.
Thank you very much. We are adjourned. So thanks, everybody. And have a good evening, everyone.